The massive Empire ship appeared in Earth's orbit without warning. Its dark metal hull stretched over 20 kilometers, blocking out the sun like an artificial eclipse. On the bridge of the United Earth Defense Force flagship, Thunder, Admiral Roberts stood with his hands clasped behind his back, studying the alien vessel through the reinforced viewport. "They're not responding to any of our communication attempts, sir," reported Communications Officer Davis, her fingers moving quickly across the holographic display. Roberts nodded slowly. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades. They knew they weren't alone in the universe. The radio signals they'd intercepted had proven that. But this was humanity's first direct contact with an alien civilization. "Keep trying all frequencies," Roberts ordered, "and maintain our defensive position." The Thunder, along with 50 other Earth warships, held formation at a safe distance from the Empire vessel. Each human ship looked tiny compared to the alien craft, but they were the product of centuries of warfare and technological advancement. Roberts knew better than to judge power by size alone. Finally, the Empire ship responded. A holographic image materialized on the Thunder's bridge. A tall, elegant alien figure wearing what appeared to be a military uniform decorated with strange symbols. "Greetings, primitive species," the alien spoke in perfect English, having obviously analyzed Earth's communications. "I am High Commander Vale of the Galactic Empire. We have come to accept your surrender and integrate your world into our glorious empire." Roberts raised an eyebrow. "This is Admiral James Roberts of the United Earth Defense Force. We do not surrender to anyone who enters our space uninvited. However, we are open to peaceful diplomatic relations." The alien commander's expression shifted to something resembling amusement. "You misunderstand, Admiral. This is not a negotiation. The Empire has conquered over 300 species across 12,000 worlds. Your technology is primitive, your weapons are basic, and your ships are small. Surrender now, and we will ensure your species' survival under Empire rule." The bridge crew tensed, but Roberts remained calm. He'd studied history his entire life, and he knew what happened when technologically advanced civilizations underestimated those they considered primitive. "High Commander," Roberts said carefully, "I strongly advise you to reconsider. Humanity is young among the stars, yes, but we have spent our entire history perfecting the art of warfare. We have fought countless battles against ourselves, developing weapons and strategies you cannot imagine. We do not want war, but if you force our hand, you will regret it." Vale laughed, the sound echoing across the bridge. "How amusing. Your species truly doesn't understand its place in the galaxy. Our scans show your most advanced weapons are based on simple nuclear fission. You haven't even mastered basic faster-than-light travel without using jump gates." "That's true," Roberts admitted, "but I'm warning you one last time. Leave Earth's space peacefully, or face the consequences. We may be primitive by your standards, but we are not weak." "Enough of this foolishness," Vale declared. "You have one Earth day to surrender. If you refuse, we will demonstrate the Empire's power. The choice is yours, but remember, every species that has resisted us has fallen. You will be no different." The hologram disappeared, leaving the bridge in tense silence. Lieutenant Bell, the tactical officer, turned to Roberts. "Sir, their ship's energy readings are off the charts. Their weapons could probably vaporize our entire fleet." "Probably," Roberts agreed, a small smile forming on his face. "But they made 3 crucial mistakes. First, they gave us time to prepare instead of attacking immediately. Second, they revealed their arrogance and underestimated us. And third," he turned to face his crew, "they have no idea what humans are capable of when backed into a corner." Roberts pressed a button on his command chair. "All Earth Defense Forces, this is Admiral Roberts. Initiate Protocol Omega. We have 24 hours to show the Empire why they should have taken our warning seriously." Across the Earth, military bases sprang into action. Underground bunkers opened, revealing weapons that had been developed in secret for decades. A defense systems activated, and special forces teams boarded their ships. Humanity had hoped for peace among the stars, but they had prepared for war. The Empire thought they were facing a primitive species that would bow down in fear. They were about to learn why Earth was classified as a death world by other civilizations, and why its inhabitants had survived every challenge thrown at them. The warning had been given. The Empire had laughed. Now they would learn. The Empire's simple subjugation fleet arrived exactly when they said it would. 100 massive warships emerged from hyperspace, their metal hulls gleaming in Earth's sunlight. To High Commander Vale, it was overkill for such a primitive species. To Commander Wilson of Earth's Special Space Operations, it was exactly what they had hoped for. All teams in position. Wilson whispered into his neural comm as his small stealth ship drifted among the debris field Earth had created. The humans had scattered old satellites and space junk in a carefully planned pattern, and the Empire ships ignored it as harmless trash. That was their first mistake. Begin Operation Ghost, Wilson ordered. Across the debris field, 20 small ships powered up. They had been waiting, perfectly camouflaged as space debris. Each vessel carried Earth's best space warfare specialists. The Empire ships opened fire on Earth's main fleet, their energy weapons lighting up space like artificial stars. But Admiral Roberts had prepared for this. The Earth fleet scattered in what looked like panic, but was actually a carefully choreographed dance. Such disorder. Vale laughed from his flagship. These humans don't even know basic space combat formations. His laughter died when the first Empire ship went dark. Wilson's team had latched onto the ship's hull using magnetic grapples designed specifically for this purpose. While the Empire focused on the main battle, human special forces cut through their hull using tools developed from studying Empire metal samples from their first contact. Team Alpha in position. Wilson reported as his squad reached the ship's bridge. The Empire crew stared in shock at the humans in their advanced combat suits. They had never expected a primitive species to board their vessels. How? The ship's captain started to ask, but Wilson's stun weapon dropped him before he could finish. Secure the bridge, Wilson ordered. Begin data download. And someone tell engineering to keep their weapons firing randomly. We don't want the other Empire ships to notice anything wrong yet. Across the battlefield, more Empire ships fell silent as human teams took control. The Empire's second mistake was assuming humans couldn't adapt to space warfare. But humanity had been practicing space combat scenarios for decades, preparing for this very situation. In the main battle, Admiral Roberts watched his display as more green lights appeared, indicating successful ship captures. Begin Phase 2, he ordered. Earth's fleet suddenly changed formation. Ships that had seemed to be running away now turned and attacked with precise coordination. The Empire fleet's neat formation began to break apart as they faced attacks from multiple directions. Impossible, Vale shouted as reports flooded in. They're using our own ships against us. How did they? He froze as he realized what the humans had done. But the worst was yet to come. Earth's third surprise revealed itself as the captured Empire ships began firing strange new weapons. Empire technology modified by human engineers in ways their creators had never imagined. Sir, Wilson reported to Roberts, we've secured 12 ships and downloaded their technical data. Our science teams are already adapting their shield technology to our vessels. Roberts nodded. The Empire's third and final mistake had been giving humans access to their technology. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their weapons or tactics. It was their ability to learn, adapt, and improve upon anything they encountered. All ships execute Attack Pattern Delta, Roberts commanded. The Earth fleet, now supported by captured Empire vessels, moved with deadly precision. Empire ships found their shields failing as human engineers used their own technology against them in ways they had never expected. We warned you, Roberts transmitted to Vale's flagship. We told you that humanity's greatest weapon is our ability to adapt. You could have chosen peace. Instead, You chose to learn this lesson the hard way. Vale watched in horror as his simple subjugation fleet fell into chaos. In just a few hours, these primitives had captured his ships, adapted his technology, and turned his own weapons against him. As Vale ordered a retreat, he finally understood. The humans hadn't been exaggerating when they warned the Empire to run. They hadn't been primitive at all. They had been waiting, preparing, and now his arrogance had given them everything they needed to fight back. The Empire's first attempt to conquer Earth had failed spectacularly. But this was just the beginning. Humanity now had Empire technology, and they would do what they had always done best: improve it, adapt it, and use it to protect their home. The real war was about to begin. The Empire's War Council sat in stunned silence as they watched the battle recordings. High Commander Vale stood before them, his pride shattered after his defeat at Earth. "These humans," one council member said, "they don't fight like civilized beings. They hide. They trick. They steal. This is not proper warfare." "No," Vale agreed, "it's not. And that's why they're winning." On the main screen, another recording played. This time, it showed a massive Empire fleet approaching Mars, Earth's red neighbor planet. The fleet's commanders had been certain they had learned from Vale's mistakes. They were wrong. The footage showed the fleet moving confidently toward Mars when suddenly, thousands of small objects appeared on their sensors. The Empire ships tried to shoot them down, but there were too many. These weren't weapons. They were decoys, overwhelming the Empire's targeting systems. While the Empire fleet was distracted, Earth's real attack began. A battle control activated. A calm computer voice announced across the human fleet. Unlike the Empire, who saw artificial intelligence as dangerous, humans had embraced AI as partners in warfare. The human A-teams moved with impossible precision, their reactions faster than any organic being could manage. "Watch this part," Vale said bitterly. The recording showed human ships appearing from behind Mars moons, where they had been hiding in special stealth fields developed using captured Empire technology. But they weren't just using stolen tech, they had improved it. The Empire ships fired their energy weapons, but the human vessels now had modified shields that adapted to each hit. Earth's scientists had taken Empire shield technology and combined it with their own experimental quantum systems. "Impossible," another council member shouted. "They couldn't have developed these improvements so quickly." "They did," Vale replied. "And that's not the worst part." The recording continued. As the Empire fleet scattered under the human attack, they detected a new threat: nuclear weapons, hundreds of them, hidden in Mars' asteroid belt. The Empire had always considered nuclear weapons primitive and barbaric, but they had never seen them used like this. The nukes didn't target the Empire ships directly. Instead, they detonated in carefully planned positions, creating a web of radiation and electromagnetic pulses that trapped the Empire fleet. Their advanced sensors, confused by the decoys and damaged by the radiation, couldn't function properly. "How did they know our weakness to electromagnetic pulses?" someone asked. "Because they stole one of our ships," Vale answered. "And they did something we thought impossible. They took it apart and understood it in weeks, not years." The recording showed the final phase of the battle. Human ships, guided by their AI systems, struck from multiple directions at once. They didn't follow any standard combat pattern the Empire recognized. Instead, they used tactics from Earth's history: guerrilla warfare, pincer movements, and strategies from ancient battles, all adapted for space combat. Their transmissions during battle, Vale continued, they were speaking multiple languages, using codes based on something called Ancient Latin and Navajo. Our translation systems couldn't keep up. The War Council watched as the Empire fleet was systematically taken apart. The humans weren't just fighting with technology. They were using every trick, every strategy, and every advantage they could find. "There's more," Vale said quietly. "We've intercepted their communications. They're sharing our technology with all their allies. Already, colonies on Mars and their moon are building new weapons. They're not trying to just defend themselves anymore. They're preparing to push into our territory. The council chamber fell silent. On the screen, the last images showed human ships recovering their nuclear weapons, collecting their decoys, and disappearing back into stealth mode. They were learning, adapting, and getting stronger with each battle. We thought they were primitive because they hadn't spread across the stars, Vale concluded. But we understand now. They weren't expanding because they were busy preparing. Every war they fought against themselves taught them something. Every piece of technology they developed had a purpose. They weren't primitive at all. They were just waiting. And we gave them exactly what they needed to fight us. The War Council looked at each other nervously. The Empire had never faced an enemy like this. An enemy that didn't follow the rules, that adapted so quickly, and that used everything, from artificial intelligence to ancient warfare tactics, to win. The humans had warned them to run. Now the Empire was beginning to understand why. Admiral Thompson stood on the bridge of the Earth ship Shadow, watching the holographic display of Empire space. His vessel wasn't just any warship. It was humanity's first true stealth carrier, built using a combination of Earth and Empire technology. Ghost Fleet is in position, reported his second-in-command, Captain Moore. All ships are running silent. Thompson nodded. After studying Empire communications for months, Earth's computer experts had discovered something interesting. The Empire's vast network had a weakness. They were so dependent on their advanced technology that they never expected anyone to hack it. That was about to change. Begin Operation Blackout, Thompson ordered. Across 3 star systems, human cyber warfare teams activated their programs. Years of playing computer games and fighting digital battles had prepared them for this moment. The Empire's communications network never stood a chance. Empire communications are going dark, Moore reported with a smile. Their ships are blind. The Empire had never faced an enemy that attacked their computer systems. They had built their networks for efficiency, not security. Now, they were paying the price for that mistake. Launch the Ghost Fleet, Thompson commanded. 50 Earth ships appeared from their hiding places in asteroid fields and planetary rings. They were painted with the darkest material ever created, and their hulls were covered in stolen Empire stealth technology that humans had modified. But these ships had something the Empire had never seen before. Each one carried Special Forces teams trained in zero-gravity combat and equipped with powered armor suits. These weren't just soldiers. They were Space Marines, and they had been waiting for this moment. Multiple Empire stations detected. The AI battle system reported. They are attempting to restore communications. Too late, Thompson said quietly. The Ghost Fleet moved like shadows through space, approaching their targets. Empire defense systems, confused by the hacked network, couldn't track them properly. The first Empire station fell in less than 10 minutes. Human Marines cut through their defenses like they weren't there. The Empire soldiers, used to fighting at a distance with energy weapons, had no defense against close combat specialists in powered armor. Station 1 secured, came the report. Moving to Phase 2. Across 3 star systems, more stations fell. The Empire's rigid command structure collapsed without communications. Their ships, unable to coordinate, became easy targets for the Ghost Fleet. Sir, Moore reported, Empire reinforcements are jumping in. Exactly where we predicted. Thompson allowed himself a small smile. Spring the trap. The Empire reinforcements appeared right in the middle of a massive minefield. But these weren't ordinary mines. They were gravity bombs, designed by human scientists who had studied Empire technology. When they detonated, they created areas of distorted space that ripped Empire ships apart. Enemy fleet is in chaos, the AI reported. 80% of their ships are disabled or destroyed. Thompson watched as his plan unfolded perfectly. The Empire had always fought wars of position and power, relying on their superior technology. They never expected an enemy to use their own networks against them, to strike from the shadows, to fight up close and personal. "Sir," Moore said, checking his display, "we've taken control of all major stations in these systems. Empire forces are retreating." "Send the message," Thompson ordered. Across all frequencies in every language the Empire used, the same message played. "You were warned. This is only the beginning." In just one day, humanity had taken control of 3 star systems. The Empire's mighty fleet had been defeated not by superior numbers or technology, but by human ingenuity and unconventional tactics. "Prepare for Phase 3, Thompson commanded, "and send word to Earth." Operation Ghost Fleet was a complete success. As his crew celebrated their victory, Thompson looked at the holographic map. The 3 captured systems were just the beginning. Humanity now had forward bases in Empire space, and they weren't going to stop here. The Empire had started this war thinking they were dealing with primitives. Now they were learning that sometimes the most dangerous enemies aren't the ones with the biggest ships or the most advanced weapons. They're the ones who think differently, who adapt, who turn your own strengths against you. The tide of war had turned, and the Empire was about to learn just how dangerous humanity could be. The Empire's supreme ruler, Grand Commander Stone, had finally had enough. In his 1,000-year reign, no species had ever caused this much trouble. His massive throne room was filled with urgent reports from across Empire space. 3 star systems lost, communications networks compromised, and countless ships destroyed. "Deploy the Planet Crusher fleet," he ordered. His advisors gasped. The Planet Crushers hadn't been used in 500 years. Each one was the size of a small moon, carrying weapons that could crack planets in half. "But sir," one advisor protested, "the humans have shown they can capture our ships. If they got control of a Planet Crusher." "They won't," Stone interrupted. "Because this time, we won't give them the chance to be clever. We'll destroy their worlds from a distance. No boarding actions, no close combat, just pure destruction." On Earth, Admiral Roberts received the warning from their spy networks. The humans had captured enough Empire communication devices to monitor their transmissions. "How many Planet Crushers?" he asked. "5, replied his intelligence officer. "They'll be here in 3 days." Roberts smiled. "Perfect, just as we planned. Alert Admiral Thompson and the Ghost Fleet. Tell them Operation Trojan is ready." The Planet Crushers emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Each one was a terrifying sight. Dark metal spheres bristling with weapons that could destroy worlds. Their commander, General Black, felt confident. No species had ever survived an attack by even one Planet Crusher. "Target Earth first," he ordered. "Let's end this quickly." But as the Planet Crushers moved forward, something strange happened. Their sensors detected thousands of ships appearing from nowhere. The readings showed they were Empire vessels. "It's a trick," Black realized too late. "Those are the ships they captured. Open fire." But he had forgotten something important. These weren't just captured ships. They were captured ships that human engineers had been modifying for months. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. The human-controlled Empire ships had been rebuilt with one purpose: to counter Planet Crushers. Their weapons had been modified in ways the Empire had never imagined, using principles from Earth's particle physics research. "First wave, engage." Thompson's voice came through the command network. The Ghost Fleet emerged from stealth, revealing new weapons mounted on their hulls. They had studied the Planet Crushers' designs from stolen Empire data and found their weakness. Their massive size made them slow to maneuver. "They're inside our minimum firing range," Black shouted as human ships swarmed around his Planet Crusher like angry bees. "How are they moving so fast?" The answer came in the form of bright flashes across his ship's hull. The humans had created special torpedoes that didn't try to destroy the Planet Crushers. Instead, they attached themselves to the hull and began drilling. "Sir," his second-in-command reported in panic. "They're boarding us." But not with troops. Through the holes drilled in the planet Crusher's hull came swarms of small robots. Empire soldiers found themselves fighting against machines that could repair themselves, that didn't need air, and that didn't feel fear. The humans aren't even risking their lives, Black realized. They're using machines to do the dangerous work. In space, the battle continued. The planet Crusher's mighty weapons couldn't target the fast-moving human ships. Their thick armor, designed to withstand direct hits from energy weapons, was being systematically taken apart by swarms of drilling robots. General Black, a human voice came through his command system. It was Admiral Roberts. Your planet Crushers are impressive, but like all Empire weapons, they have one fatal flaw. You never thought about how to defend them against unconventional attacks. Within hours, 3 planet Crushers had fallen silent, their systems taken over by human-made robots. The 4th was trapped in a web of modified gravity mines, and Black's command ship was surrounded. Surrender, Roberts offered. You've lost this battle. As Black gave the surrender order, he finally understood. The Empire had brought their biggest, most powerful weapons to crush the humans, but the humans had once again turned the Empire's strength against them. The planet Crushers, meant to be the Empire's ultimate weapon, had become their greatest defeat, and humanity was now ready to push even deeper into Empire space. The Empire's capital world was in chaos. For the first time in its 1,000-year history, citizens were protesting in the streets. News of the planet Crusher's defeat had leaked, despite the government's best efforts to hide it. How can primitives defeat our greatest weapons? Crowds shouted outside the Imperial Palace. How many more must die in this pointless war? Inside the palace, Grand Commander Stone watched the protests through his security feeds. His advisors had brought more bad news. The human forces were advancing rapidly through Empire space, liberating conquered species as they went. The humans are offering independence to any world that surrenders to them peacefully, one advisor reported nervously. 30 systems have already changed sides. Stone slammed his fist on his throne. Send in the ground forces. These humans may have clever ships and machines, but surely they can't match our troops in direct combat. He was wrong again. On the jungle world of New Eden, an Empire colony, General White led 50,000 Empire troops against the human invasion force. The Empire soldiers were equipped with the finest armor and energy weapons in the galaxy. Enemy dropships detected, his tactical officer reported. They're landing in the northern forest. White smiled. The dense jungle would work against the humans' machines and robots. This would be a battle of soldier against soldier, where Empire training would prove superior. The first sign that something was wrong came when his forward scouts went silent. Then the night vision sensors on his troops' helmets began failing one by one. "Sir," his communication officer called out in panic. "Something's interfering with our equipment. All our advanced systems are shutting down." Through the trees came human soldiers, but not what the Empire expected. These weren't just troops. They were Earth's most elite fighting force, wearing powered armor that combined Empire technology with human engineering. How were they moving in that jungle? White wondered aloud. Then he saw it. Their armor wasn't just for protection. It enhanced their strength and speed, letting them move through the dense vegetation like it wasn't there. But worse than their technology was their fighting style. The humans didn't march in formation or follow standard combat protocols. They appeared and disappeared like ghosts, using the jungle itself as a weapon. They're everywhere. Empire soldiers began to panic. Their energy rifles, designed for long-range combat in open spaces, were nearly useless in the close jungle fighting. White watched in horror as his forces were systematically taken apart by an enemy they could barely see. The humans used tactics his troops had never encountered: guerrilla warfare, ambush techniques, and close combat skills perfected through centuries of Earth's conflicts. "Sir," his second-in-command reported, "our forces are in full retreat. The humans, they're not just warriors. Each one fights like they've trained for this their entire lives." They had. Every human soldier carried the combined knowledge of Earth's military history. Their combat suits contained AI systems that could predict enemy movements and suggest counter-tactics in real time. As White's forces retreated, he received an urgent message from the capital. More Empire worlds had surrendered to the humans. Military units were beginning to desert rather than face Earth's forces in battle. "This is impossible," White muttered as he ordered a full withdrawal. "We've conquered hundreds of species. How can one primitive world defeat us so completely?" The answer came from his own troops. As they fled the battlefield, many of them threw down their weapons. They had lost faith not just in this battle, but in the Empire itself. In orbit, Admiral Thompson watched the battle's outcome from the shadow. "Another victory," he reported to Earth. "And this time, we proved we can beat them on the ground, as well as in space." The Empire was reaching its breaking point. Its mighty military was falling apart. Its citizens were in revolt, and its conquered worlds were declaring independence. All because they had made one simple mistake. They had underestimated humanity's determination and adaptability. The war wasn't over, but everyone could see where it was heading. The empire that had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years was about to fall to the species they had dismissed as primitives. The Imperial Palace's Grand Hall had never been so quiet. Grand Commander Stone sat on his throne, surrounded by his remaining advisors, as they watched the human delegation approach. Admiral Roberts led the group, walking confidently across the polished floor that had seen 1,000 years of Empire glory. "You understand what surrender means?" Roberts asked, his voice echoing in the silent hall. "The Empire as you knew it is over." Stone nodded slowly. The last 6 months had seen the complete collapse of his mighty empire. Half his worlds had declared independence, and the other half had surrendered to the humans. His military was in ruins, his economy was collapsing, and his people were demanding change. "What are your terms?" Stone asked, expecting the worst. The Empire had never shown mercy to defeated enemies. They had destroyed entire civilizations, enslaved countless species, and taken everything they wanted. Roberts pulled out a data pad and began reading. "First, all conquered worlds will be given their independence. They can choose to join Earth's new Galactic Alliance or remain independent." Stone blinked in surprise. He had expected demands for territory, for resources, for revenge. "Second," Roberts continued, "the Empire will be reformed. Your people will hold free elections to choose their leaders. Your technology and resources will be used to help rebuild the worlds you damage." "You're not destroying us?" one advisor asked in disbelief. Roberts shook his head. "Humanity didn't fight this war for revenge or conquest. We fought because you gave us no choice. Now we're giving you the choice we wished you had given us. The choice to change, to improve, to become better." In orbit above the capital world, the combined fleets of Earth and their new allies held position. Modified Empire ships flew alongside human vessels, their crews working together to maintain peace. "Third," Roberts said, "the Empire will join the Galactic Science Council. Your scientists will work with ours to advance technology for peaceful purposes. Together, we can achieve more than we ever could alone." Stone looked around his throne room. The walls were covered in images of Empire victories, of worlds conquered and species subjugated. For the first time, he felt ashamed of that history. "Why?" he asked finally. "Why show mercy when you could destroy us?" Roberts smiled. "Because that's the difference between us. You saw other species as things to conquer. We see them as potential allies. You fought for power. We fought for survival and freedom. Now we're offering you the chance to learn from your mistakes." The surrender ceremony was broadcast across the galaxy. Species that had lived under Empire rule for centuries watched as the mighty Empire agreed to Earth's terms. But they weren't terms of punishment. They were terms of hope. "There's one more thing," Roberts said after the documents were signed. "We want to show you something." On the massive display screens around the hall, images appeared. They showed Earth's history, countless wars, conflicts, and battles. But they also showed how humans had learned from each war, how they had developed not just weapons, but ways to prevent war. "We warned you to run because we knew what war could do," Roberts explained. "We've spent our history fighting ourselves, learning the cost of conflict. When we reached the stars, we hoped to find peace. Instead, we found an empire that had never learned these lessons." Stone stood up from his throne. "And now you're teaching us those lessons." "Yes," Roberts agreed, "because that's what humans do. We learn, we adapt, and we help others learn too. That's why we're classified as Death World survivors, not just because we survived our harsh world, but because we learned to make it better." As the human delegation left the palace, news was already spreading across the galaxy. The empire that had ruled for 1,000 years had fallen to a species they had dismissed as primitive. But instead of replacing one empire with another, the humans were creating something new. A galaxy where different species worked together, where strength came from cooperation, not conquest. The war was over. The empire had learned their lesson, and humanity had proved that true power doesn't come from superior weapons or technology. It comes from the wisdom to use that power wisely.